Hey, cleaning business owners. If you out here trying to land contracts and grow your business, you need to be careful about what you're signing. Now, all contracts are not good contracts. In fact, some are some can seriously hurt your business. Today, I'm sharing 5 major red flags you should never ignore before signing a commercial cleaning contract. These mistakes can lead to underbidding, unpaid, or even legal headaches. But don't worry, I'll also give you some pro tips to avoid these traps and make sure your contracts actually help you grow. Now, some of this stuff is real critical. I had an experience today where I bid on this contract. It was small, but we had did a deep clean for them, and then they came back and they wanted regular service. So what ended up happening today was he asked me, "Are you?" Because it's twice a month. So he said, "Are y'all coming out there weekly to do the washrooms?" And I said, "No, the contract." I said, "No, the contract's for twice a month." He came back and emailed me the pages where the proposal said we would come one time a week and do the washrooms. I told my daughter, I said, "See, you got to pay attention. You got to watch what you say in there because the clients will hold you to it." So I need you guys to grab a notepad, hit the like and subscribe button, and let's get into it. Okay, red flag number 1, unrealistic expectations. Now, even when you go on a walkthrough, you'll have a client, the contact person who wants all this stuff. Okay, so all right. So first up, unrealistic expectations, and let me tell you, this is a big one. Because have you ever had a client who expected way more than what they were paying for? If you have, drop a yes in the comments, because this is why your proposal, your scope of work has to be exact. Because, okay, I'm going to give you an example of unrealistic expectations. A client wants daily deep cleaning, but only wants to pay for basic service. You'll have a client, they expect your team to be available 24/7 without proper compensation. They keep adding extra tasks, but don't want to adjust the pricing. So I'm going to tell you what I do in that instance. That I haven't had too much of that, but I've had clients ask my team to clean a room that my team know ain't in the scope of work. So they'll call me and tell me that the client want them to clean this room. So I'll have them take a picture or something and tell me about the room. And I'll tell them, you go ahead and clean it this time. But if they ask you again, you need to let me know, because now they need to add it into the scope of work. And they have to add that in the pricing. So that's why your scope of work needs to be clear. So a pro tip: make sure your contracts spell out exactly what's included. And if they want extra services, there should be an additional cost attached. So if it's out of the scope of work, it's an additional cost. And you also need to avoid red flag number 2, vague scope of work. The second biggest mistake is a contract that's too vague. If your agreement just says, keep the building clean, And that's the problem. Keep the building clean. What do that mean? Like, it's no specifics or nothing. And see, and two, this is why I say get the name of the rooms so you can label the rooms. You could be so clear, so specific. Because a red flag can be clients might expect you to do things that weren't originally discussed. You could end up doing extra work for free. If a dispute happens, a vague contract won't protect you because it don't say nothing. Okay, so an example of a vague language in contract versus clear wording. Okay, this is bad wording. Floors will be kept clean. That's not specific. Here's specific. Floors will be vacuumed daily, mopped 3 times per week, and a deep clean monthly. That's being more specific. So there's no confusion on what it is you're supposed to do. So have you ever had a client ask you to do extra work that wasn't in the contract? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a client ask you to do extra work that wasn't in the contract? Now here's another pro tip. Make sure every task is listed clearly, including frequency, daily, weekly, monthly, and any exceptions. Like I got my days of holidays were off. Because this protects you. This protects you. So you want to be clear on everything. Red flag number 3, unclear payment terms. This is a big one because if you're not getting paid, your business won't survive. So I have a pay term. My pay term is 15 days. Now when they award it to me, then I have to be clear on what is their pay term versus mine. If they can't do my 15 days, I need to know what is theirs. Because if it's past 30 days, I don't want to do that. So be clear on the pay terms. Key issues with pay terms. We'll pay you when we can. No, you need exact dates. You need a term. No mention of late fees or penalties for overdue payments. Now, I got late fees listed in my proposal, and what I want to do this year is to enforce these late fees because I have clients that's always late. They're not in my term. So either we need to sit at the table, talk about this term again, or they got to pay these late fees. So you want to have something in there for that. And then pay people, they'll tell you payment approval delays. Some clients will delay your payment until they approve your work. This is why janitorial accounts, before we start, they pay me up front because we can't give big companies credit. That's giving them credit. You work for 30 days, I don't care if it's 2 weeks, and you got to wait for your money. That's giving them credit. So they got to pay us first. So, you don't want them payment headaches. I Here's an example. I had a contract once where the client didn't include any late fees. They kept paying late, and I had no way to enforce. Now, this is a true story because that's me. Excuse me. They kept paying late fee. They kept paying late, and I had no way to enforce the penalties. So I'm learning these lessons real quick because I need people. If we go there and we faithfully show up and do a service, then we need to get paid. So here go another pro tip. Your contract should state whether the payment dates are net 15, net 30, etc. Late fees, example. 5% per month on overdue invoices. Preferred payment methods. Yeah, because don't do the paper checks. Do Arch, credit card, etc. Now, I have another question. Have you ever had a client delay payments? Let's talk about it in the comments. Yeah, because that's the worst part when the clients are late. Okay, so red flag number 4. No exit clause. Can you imagine being locked into a bad contract for a year? Because it can happen. You have to have an exit clause. Like in my proposal, it talks about they have to give us a 30-day notice as well as we have to give them a 30-day notice if we want to end the contract. So you want to have an exit clause. Now, here's some examples of why you want to have an exit clause. If a client stops paying, you need a way out. So it's not legally like you're breaking the contract. And if the job is unsafe or the client changed terms unfairly, you need protection because once they sign that contract, that's a legal document. That's a contract. So here's another one. Some contracts let clients cancel anytime, but you are stuck. Make sure it's fair. Like I said, they have to give me a 30-day notice or I have to give them a 30-day notice. Now here's another pro tip. Make sure your contract includes, and we just talked about this, a 60 or I'll say a 30, 60 or 90-day notice for termination. Exit terms for non-payment, unfair working conditions, or scope creep. Scope creep. Now let me tell you what scope creep is. Scope creep is when you have a contract and like I said, that contact person still really wants you to do that stuff. She can't get you to do it, but she'll get the other cleaner try to do it. So that to me, you're like stuck in a bad contract. So if you've ever been stuck in a bad contract, let me know. Put it in the comment. Red flag number 5. Everything is verbal. You'll have no documentation. You'll have no signatures. You have nothing, just verbal. If a client refuses to put things in writing, that's a huge red flag. Why this is a problem? You don't have no documentation of the terms. Uh, they can change the terms whenever they want because you never got nothing in writing. There's no proof of any agreements. You could lose money if they refuse to pay you for extra work. You have to document everything. Everything needs to be in writing. Here's an example of a verbal agreement gone wrong. I had a client who said, "Oh, yeah, we'll pay extra for that," but never did. I had no written proof, so I got stuck with the extra work for free. Never again. Now, here's a pro tip. Always get a signed contract, even if it's just a simple written agreement. Get something in writing because you need to have that's your proof. That's like your protection that this is what we agreed to. So, have you ever had a verbal agreement gone wrong? Share your experience. Cause I don't do nothing not in writing because these people are tricky. So you have to protect yourself. So, all right, now you know 5 of the biggest red flags in cleaning contracts. If you want to protect your business, make sure you're watching out for these issues before signing anything. And you need to make sure that your proposal, your service agreement is clear and your scope of work is clear. All right, you guys, that's really what I wanted to share today. So if you like this video and if you found this helpful, comment below if you've ever dealt with a bad contract. Subscribe for more business tips to help you win cleaning contracts and avoid costly mistakes. I'm trying to post on here daily, give you guys some value. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.